Keep away from me, Smith. I'm an agent of Goldstein. I didn't know it myself. Thought crime is so insidious. It just creeps up in you. My daughter found it out. Very proud of her. Very grateful I've been discovered before it's too late. They won't shoot me, will they, Smith? I know I could be very useful in a labor camp.
Room 101.
No. Please. You don't have to take me there. Why? There's nothing I won't confess. Nothing. I've told you everything already. What is it you want me to know? Take him instead of me. He's the thought criminal. It's him you want.
Well, everything seemingly started out fine, and then I went to post the show on Parler for like the last 10 minutes, and it just kept telling me over and over again, please check your connection. I used 3 different connections. They really need to get on the ball. They really do. People like me are trying to make their platform great. And what do? Nothing. You know, I tried to advertise on Parler, and they basically said in so many words, you're too poor. Because I didn't, they had you fill out like a multi-question form if you want to advertise with Parler. So naturally, being the cheap guy that I am, I put in it gives you an option for what's your budget? $0 to $100, $100 to $500, $500 to $1,000, $1,000 to $5,000, $5,000 or more. So naturally, I put in 0 to 100, the lowest possible. There was no question after that. It was just, we're sorry, you can't advertise with us at this very moment. So I guess they don't want my money. I guess they don't want all that bread, all that Murder the Media Ville bread. But I feel like, maybe I'm turning it around, but they really bummed me out over there at Parler. So if somebody wants to send them this clip, they can. Hold on, it's not over yet. Hey, Parler, fuck you! All right, now you can let the kids watch. Hopefully there will be minimal swearing from here on out. But let's just get right into this. Everybody has had their Christmas break. We got New Year's coming up. Oh, and what a time to celebrate all the wonderful things and how this New Year's going to be different. You're damn right. You're darn right. It's going to be different. It's going to be unlike any video or any year you've ever seen before. Now, will it be unlike anything that's ever happened in history? Absolutely not, because history repeats itself constantly. And that's one of the biggest black pills of them all is, let's say next year, and it won't be, but let's say next year, enough people wake up and rise up and they take their country back and they go, we're not putting up with this nonsense anymore, this malarkey. Just know that in 100 years you're going to do it all over again. It's a vicious cycle. Or is it circle? I don't know. But that's always the most disheartening is as a student of history, you look back and you go, this has happened time and time and time again. It may seem different, but it's the age-old story of who doesn't want to be controlled and who wants to control you. It's no different. Technology has evolved. It's become very sci-fi. Speaking of weird segue, but sci-fi and technology. For the very first time watched a movie last night called They Live with the venerable Rowdy Roddy Piper. And if you don't know what movie I'm talking about, I didn't know this at the time. Have you ever seen the meme of the guy with the glasses and he pulls them down and then he puts them up and he sees all these secret messages? That's from that movie. I had no idea. But very, very startling similarities between that movie and what's happening right now. Everybody is being lied to, but they're purchasing the lies. They're benefiting the system that doesn't benefit them by paying into it. But they're unaware of it. For example, when he puts on the magic glasses and he looks at a newspaper, it says things like, obey, buy more, consume, watch TV. And when I was watching, I go, that's no different than what's happening now. No different at all. It was frightening. I think this movie was in 1987, 1988, and they basically predicted the future. Now, the enemies in this were aliens from a far-off planet that move from planet to planet and then subvert the entire population and basically make them consuming cattle. Sound familiar? Now, that got me to thinking, do you remember when the whole George Bush war was going on? And the best advice that presidency gave you was buy more, help the economy. You got to buy. You got to get out there, you got to buy stuff. To the point, we're going to give you your own money to buy stuff. And that's when you remember those Bush stimulus checks? What did they tell you to do with those checks? Consume. Buy more shit you don't need. So now, at that point, your government is telling you, in order to benefit the wealthiest people in the country, and let's be honest, the world, you need to buy more stuff. Family show. You need to buy more useless junk that's going to clutter up your house, clutter up your life, clutter up your mind in this race to keep up with the Joneses that don't exist. And when I say don't exist, you go, I see people all around me. They drive nice cars. They live in big houses. Here's the thing. They're simply, this is all very new to me, but they're simply imitating what they've been told the American dream is. And nobody's any happier. We're all on, not me, but a lot of us are on antidepressants. Just drugged to the gills legally and illegally. Booze, massive seller, billion dollar industry. All just to keep you numb and consuming. Why? It doesn't benefit you. Just this past, I don't know, like a couple days before Christmas, I'm thinking to myself, I think this might be my last Christmas. I don't understand this. I don't get joy out of this. They've tricked us and convinced us into showing that if you care for people, if you love people, if you want to keep people close to you, you go buy them stupid shit that they don't need. Stupid S that they don't need. And all my lovely ladies and all my children everywhere, you know, they bought me all this stuff, and I couldn't help but feel disappointed in myself, sad with myself, because it didn't feel the same as it had in the past. It felt loving coming from them, but when I got it, unless it was really sweet clothes, I was like, this is nothing, this isn't making me feel better. It's making me feel like I have more stuff. Now, I intentionally bragged to make the audience feel inferior, that I had one of my living rooms was just half full of all kinds of gifts, all kinds of presents, everything, stocking stuffers, and just clothes, which I like, and just all kinds of stuff. But ironically, do you know what the only thing I wanted this year, and I'm not going to get it this year? It was this custom guitar that I ordered probably a month and a half ago, and I'm still waiting on it. And the date for that getting here is now, I checked today. Last I checked it, it was late December, early January. Now it's late January, early February. And I was sad. But I had to question in my own mind, is this just another junk item I don't need but want to possess? No, I have recently picked up the guitar over the last probably year or so, and I notice in my free time when I don't have anything to do, I like just making some music. After your initial investment of your instrument, you get to be creative and make your own music. It's incredibly fulfilling, and the moral to that, the insight to that is, it doesn't make you happy to get your PlayStations and your new shoes. I'm a big fan of new shoes though. But just your junky Christmas stuff that you think you want, your tablets and your cell phones. So back to what I was saying. If you really take a look into your life at what brings you joy, it's not, and I hate to be the guy preaching to y'all, fuck this guy, F this guy. I'm working on it, kids. But at the same time, you really need to take a look at what is actually making you happy, what's actually bringing you joy, and what is really just cluttering up your life with this false notion of consumerism being good. So back to what I was saying was, a couple days before Christmas, it really hit me that I think I would be happiest without a television, without a phone even. I mean, as cool as it is to have all this information at your fingertips, what joy does it bring you? It really just adds stress to my life. People being able to get a hold of me, instant access to all the news I don't want to know about. You know, I stopped looking at Drudge Report a long time ago, and it took me a couple weeks before I was like, I feel better. I feel a lot less stressed. And it's because I wasn't consumed with news. Now, I noticed Worst Takes says that chair looks like something out of a sex dungeon. That's why I brought the chair. Because sex dungeons make me happy. It's one of those things I realized, of all the stuff I have, my sex dungeon chair is really where it's at. Brings me all sorts of comfort and joy. Somebody says they need their magic box. I've had a couple of those in my day. Anyway, I forget where I was going with all that. Stop buying shit. When I get my money back from the government, which will probably be $600, I'm just going to spend it all on food. I mean, like storable food. And maybe it's in hopes that all this shit just collapses and we'll realize we don't need it anymore. You won't be fighting in the streets because your iPhone doesn't work anymore. No, it'll be for survival because people are trying to kill you and take your stuff. It will really bring meaning back to life. And that's what I want y'all to take away from this. The end isn't the end, it's the beginning. It's the beginning of a new life. It's the beginning of having purpose again. A purpose beyond going to work every day just to come home and buy a bunch of trash. To live in a big house that you can barely afford the electricity bill. To have all these extra rooms you never use. Now, I live in several large houses, And you know where I spend all of my time? You can ask any one of my girlfriends. The bedroom and the kitchen. I'm not saying I just bang all the time. No, I'm saying I got a nice setup in my bedroom, and I like to lay there and read and play guitar and watch TV and have sex. Not in that order, sweeties. And then when I'm not there, you know what I like to do? I like to cook. I cook every day. I cook for about 30 I cook a large chunk of my afternoon is dedicated to cooking on a stove. I'm a big fan of it. It's not stressful to me. It's relaxing. It's cathartic. And one of these days, I can't wait to be cooking over an open flame because we don't have any electricity or gas anymore. It's going to be phenomenal. So, let's get into why we are beyond savable. Now, this can go on and on and on. This, what you see now, this consumerism, this owned by globalist corporations that will subjugate you to fatten their pockets. By the way, aerial photos of Xinjiang, China, have showed that they're using forced slave labor to make your iPhones. Pretty cool, right? So let's just go through this. I don't have this in any order, but let's just pop it open and see why we're all fucking doomed unless we stop participating in these systems. Oh, this is great, right? Look what all of our technology has brought us. A majority of young adults in the U.S. live with their parents for the first time since the Great Depression. Let's see if we can just go slide to slide. That would make everybody's life and eyes a lot better off. Let's see what happens. There we go. Here's some more for your wonderful technological existence. All major Western media outlets take private dinners, sponsored trip from Chinese Communist Propaganda Front. You remember how they told you to hate Russia? All of them? Every single one of them? Like Russia's a threat. Like Russia's really a threat. Oh, this is a good one. So now we're going to get into, here's another reason why it's over. The police are now tyrannical foot soldiers of an oppressive regime that wants you basically in bondage, not the fun kind, in bondage, and they send signals to you all the time about how they're in control, even though I think there's one police officer per 1,000 people on average. But I just want you to watch how the police treat this citizen. And I don't want to hear any of this, oh, if he just would have obeyed the law stuff. Just take a real good look before you judge, okay? And just realize your money pays these people to live in a police state where these guys hate you. They have no respect for you. Is this all police? No. But it's enough of them.
377. Any reason why you're rolling your window up when I walk up to this car?
No, sir.
You had been driving it down for the past mile?
I just rolled it up.
Alright, step out of the car for me.
You rolled your window up. You need to step out of the car. You've been driving with your window down for a mile. I don't know if y'all knew this. That was a crime. To roll your window up after driving a mile.
Step out. Do not shut that window. Open it now. Step out. Right here. Face that direction.
Faster, boy, faster.
Face that direction. Put your hands right here behind your back.
I just saw his weird man bun thing. Choke him out.
Don't move, you understand? Why are you acting so suspicious? Well, what you're wrong.
Why are you acting so suspicious? These men are armed. And now keep in mind, these police are so armed and dangerous. Bulletproof vests and hollow point ammunition, which, by the way, you can't even use hollow point ammunition in war. It's against the Geneva Convention. But they can use them against you.
You roll your window up when I'm walking up on scene for a routine traffic stop. Ain't nothing go.
You roll your window up and I'm walking on the scene for a routine traffic stop. What do you mean by that? What is it? What are you insinuating, officer?
What's going on? You roll your window up. What does that look like to me?
I mean, I'm just rolling it up because
Looks like I rolled my window up.
For my safety.
For your safety.
Yeah. No. Nothing.
For your safety. I'm the one that needs to be safe here. God damn it, armed to the teeth. Backup responding. Higher chance of you getting shot now because, God forbid, you rolled your window up. The whole thing is just odd and a daily occurrence. I think that people need to join with certain parts of certain organizations, or at least what they're pushing for, even though it's for different reasons. And be like, yeah, I think you should defund the police personally.
And I rolled out my window.
Take off.
That's my dad.
Oh, sir. Yeah.
I rolled out my window.
320, give me unit code now.
And he got mad because I rolled out my window.
Step right here.
No lies detected. That seems to be what he's angry about.
I rolled it up. Back
Step right your feet.
Well, that's what happened, huh?
Yeah.
You're about to be arrested for block.
You're about to be arrested for blocking the road. You can't make this shit up. This is the guy's father that just rolled up, and he's seeing, let me turn that down a little bit. He's seeing his son being arrested, and he's just, obviously curious what's going on, what's happening. And now he's threatened with arrest. He's committed no crime. But they'll make up shit in order to then arrest you for a crime if you don't cooperate with their nonsense. So you're about to see that happen too.
Blocking the roadway. If you don't park and get out.
I rolled
Park over there.
Said I can. It's my right.
You are interfering.
You can't park there. Park over there on the roadway. The one I just told you couldn't park on.
It's my job. You need to go park over there.
I'm just reporting.
I rolled up my window like you said. It was my right to roll up my window.
No, it's not.
Did you know it's not illegal for police to lie to you? That's not a crime. So that kid just said to his dad, I rolled up my window like you told me to. And he goes, that's not... shit, I already messed it up. I'm going to go back. Oh, no, I'm losing it. I'm losing it. Let me go to here. We got to hear that again.
Rolled it up. Back
Step
up.
right your feet.
Well, that's what happened, huh?
Yeah.
You're about to be arrested for blocking the roadway. If you don't park and get out.
I rolled.
Park and get out.
I rolled
Park
up.
over there.
Said I can. It's my right.
You are interfering with my job. You need to go park over there.
I'm just reporting.
I rolled up my window like you said. It was my right to roll up my window.
No, it's not.
Okay, so he said it was my right to roll up the window, and the cop goes, no, it's not. It's also that gentleman in the truck's right to record, which the cop isn't letting him do. I wonder why. I wonder what he's afraid of. Okay, so this is now the other officer that's on scene. He showed up. The other guy went and parked. The kid's dad went and parked. So you're seeing the cop still harass the kid for rolling his window up. I'll say young man. No need to make it worse than it is or whatever. But it's... So now the second cop is walking up. Now this guy is on a public sidewalk recording the police hassling his son.
And now you're taking away. Just watch him.
Fuck me what? Fuck me stand here?
Yep. But yet, arrest him.
For what?
Put your phone down.
Blocking the road?
So the guy, the cop just said to this cop, arrest him. I hope he sues them, but now you can't trust the courts. I made a joke the other day about Twitter has purchased a majority share of the Supreme Court, SPUC on the NASDAQ. I thought it was clever.
Roadway?
Put your phone down. Turn around.
No, man.
Nope.
For what?
Hey.
What? Hold on. What am I blocking?
Worst takes is where is this? Looking around, to me, that looks like Central to North Texas. All those neighborhoods look like that.
I'm not
Put your
blocking
phone
any
down.
roadway.
Nope. Enough.
I am not blocking a roadway.
Put your phone down.
He puts his fucking hands on the guy. Now imagine if you put a hand on a cop. Now cops are seen committing crimes all the time. What they're doing right now is a crime. You can't touch that man. That's fucking assault. If that guy did that to the cop, that would be assaulting a police officer. But this cop can go to this citizen, grab his arm, tell him to put his phone down, give him that bullshit about what are you holding? What are you holding? Okay? And nothing will happen. Well, I say that things have started to happen because these cops started going too far. Now this is a two-way street, but the cops have not helped their case with this. Okay?
Put your hands behind your head.
Hey, Russ, I hope you got this on video. This guy's arresting me for just standing here. And now he's taking my
He has not done anything illegal.
phone away.
Hey. Out of the unit.
Dude, oh my God.
Hey.
I think if that guy that just got taken down met either one of those cops one-on-one without a gun and without a uniform, I think he'd have a fighting chance of whooping his ass.
Hey, you're gonna...
Dude, what are you doing?
You're gonna get sprayed. Okay?
I'm not
Put your hands
spraying.
behind.
Here comes the pepper spray.
Spray. I'm not even doing anything.
Look at that. Look at that big old dose. And he just keeps going. He puts it all over the back of his head and shit. There's a word for that. It's I forget. What is that? No. I'll think of it.
Excuse me.
323, need a more unit. Run code.
Dude, what the heck, man?
Stop! Stop!
Stay away.
323, OC spread.
I guess the word is just mean, rude, uncalled for. I think he got pleasure out of that. This makes me look like I have this huge roll right here. I do not, ladies. I do not. What's next? Oh, more Screw the Blue videos. This is a woman getting arrested for not wearing a mask, not a crime.
Okay.
You do not.
You're being
I'm
arrested.
going to leave.
No, you're under arrest.
I am going to leave the
You're
mall.
under- you're under
I
arrest.
have the mask on.
Now you're resisting arrest.
I have the mask on, and I'm going to leave.
81, I need another officer. By corner big.
You need
Make
to
it
stop
stand.
touching me.
Make it
You need
Oh, brutal, Janet. That's a good word for it. But what's one where you get pleasure out of hurting somebody like that?
to stop touching
I think it starts with an S. I can't believe I'm drawing a total blank on that.
me. Stop touching me. Stop touching me.
corner bakery. Corner bakery.
Stop touching me.
You're under arrest.
You need to stop
No,
touching
you're
me.
under
This was in Dallas, Texas, by the way.
arrest.
I
Put your
have
hands.
the mask on.
No, put your hands behind your back.
You need to stop touching
Put your
me.
hands behind your back.
Stop touching me.
Put your hands behind your back. You're under
You
arrest.
need to stop touching
You're under.
me.
Brutal enforcers of mandates that aren't laws. These cops are all criminals, in my opinion. But nobody's going to do anything about it because the rest of the public is scared about COVID. Now, keep in mind, there's a large enough section of the population that's not scared of it. So that's why you're seeing these new strains come out.
Under arrest.
Sadistic. Thank you. I was texted by one of my sweethearts, who's very smart, by the way. Sadistic was the word I was looking for. I hope somebody else didn't say that, and they're like, I said it. Janet did say sadistic. Let's call it a tie, shall we? Oops. Okay. Next video. We're just plowing through these because I don't really have anything today, if you haven't been able to tell. Oh, look, here's more cops. Hold on. I want to get this adjusted. Now, this is a disabled veteran. I'm not laughing that he's a disabled veteran. I'm laughing that this is what he fought and got disabled for.
Hey! Whoa! What the fuck? Hey! What the fuck? You get off him! Get off of him! Get off of him! Get off of him!
Medical exemption right here. Hey,
Get off of him!
He claims a medical exemption, which he doesn't need, by the way. But he's claiming to have a medical exemption. He's also claiming to be a disabled veteran. That means nothing to these people. They don't respect you. They don't care what you've done. They don't care what illegal wars you fought in. I'm also fascinated that these people have shirts that say security. If I would have... I know a lot of people say a lot of things, right? This is why I wear a mask, because you never know when something like this is going to happen. You never know when you're going to have to pull your piece and not want to have to talk to the police afterwards. And the best way to do that is to pay attention. Always have a t-shirt underneath your suave outfit. Always wear a hat, and always have a full face covering, and preferably glasses. And then if you ever punch a security guard or a cop in the face for violating somebody's rights, like this disabled veteran, you can make it far enough away to where you can pull the Superman and just take everything off and throw it in the trash. And then you got a t-shirt, you took your hat off, you change your mask even, probably not going to know it's you. There's upsides to this mask thing. So I'm all for the masks right now. I did a whole show about stealing shit. And it's all because these mask laws are being enforced to these people's, hopefully soon to their own detriment as far as, you know, these businesses.
Get off of him! The fuck are you doing? Hey, you're choking him! Get the fuck off of him, motherfucker!
Move out the way. Get out the
Don't
way.
tell me to fucking move!
I'm a disabled veteran.
Leave him alone!
I think he's smiling because he's like, I got a fucking payday coming. I don't think you do. Now, let's ask each other this. How much longer until legislation by your government who loves you so much, how much longer until legislation is passed that you won't be able to sue for cops and security guards who were confused by the mandates trying to enforce mask wearing with physical force and taking you to jail and shit? How much longer? This is a Ville prediction, and usually they're right 100% of the time. How many more days, weeks, months, or years before municipalities, police departments, etc., cannot be prosecuted for mask enforcement civil rights violations? That's a bold claim, but it's coming.
Leave him alone! You're hurting him!
Yeah, we're hurting him. We're trying to.
You're disabled! You're fucking hurting him! Goddamn prick! Johnson, did you tell me we were gonna arrest you?
I'm a disabled veteran. I'm a disabled veteran of the United States Army.
Oh, Army. That was a joke.
Did you tell him?
Can y'all tell what they're singing? I can't. The crowd is chanting or singing something. I can't tell what it was. It would be nice if instead of chanting, keep in mind mob mentality works. If one person kicked one of those cops in the face, I think other people would start doing it. I think we're really close to a mob action. Not the kind that you've been used to seeing, not the left's mob action, because they're so quick to do that, but the right has yet to do that. But I'm telling you, we are on the precipice of a boot going right into one of those fucking security guards' faces, and then everybody just fucking Robert De Niroing those cocksuckers on the floor. Ah! Ah! That was my Goodfellas Billy Bats getting stomped impression. Pretty good, right?
That hard! Why you stop going that hard? Motherfucker! You're fucking hurting us, bitches!
These people could be overwhelmed at any time. 1,000 to 1. And I'm going to get in trouble for this. But there's no reason that crowd couldn't, hear me out, I'm not saying do it, but don't be shocked when the wrong people are in that crowd and the words out of their mouth after stopping this citizen from getting assaulted by these jackboots, the words that come, the chants come out of their mouth are, up against the wall, up against the wall, up against the wall, up against the wall, up against the wall. Now I'm going to get in trouble for that, even though there's been many people on the left much more popular than me, not as good looking, but much more popular than me, use that exact phrase, those exact terms. But they're talking about the underclass. This guy getting beaten for not wearing a mask. So they can say that stuff. I can't, but I just did. Up against the wall.
He was the one that initiated the violence. That man right there.
Oh, okay. I thought they were doing something really fucking corny like singing the national anthem. Shit like that used to have meaning. That stuff does not have meaning anymore. What it's doing now, I guess it's better than just doing the absolute minimum of nothing at all. But who thought to go, let's sing the Star Spangled Banner? That'll show up. That'll really make them go home at night and lose sleep. They're not losing any sleep. They're getting paid for oppressing you. There's no better position to be in times like these than the people that are on the side of the government that is destroying everything. Okay? Those cops are going to go home that night. Those security guards, they're going to sleep like babies knowing that they have secured their spot by proving to their tyrannical master overlords that they're loyal. And they will do anything they're told. Was there a guy assaulting that lady? Did y'all see that? Hold on, it looked like a guy was standing over the lady in the red shirt like, I'll kill you, bitch! But it wasn't in uniform. Hold on, I want to go back on that. Oh, shit. Now I gotta fast forward. Hold on. Okay. That guy right there, in those shoes. Who the fuck is that guy? Because you had other citizens trying to keep that guy away from the woman, and then the cops trying to keep him away from the woman. I wonder what was going on there. If anybody knows who the veteran was that was assaulted by the police just then, send me the name. I really want to look further into this story. I mean, there's a chance he could sue the best he could hope for is winning a lawsuit. Under that would be the charges being dismissed. I don't know what's going to happen. He'll probably go to jail for it. It is getting wild out there, ladies and gentlemen. Wild. Now, these videos, I'm getting these videos. This was 3 that you've never seen. I'm getting these every single day. What does that tell you? Oh, well, in a country of 300 and whatever million people, things like this are going to happen. They don't have to. They don't have to for very much longer. They will. But there were angry people there, and they joined into a form of mob mentality. It wasn't mob violence, it was mob mentality when they started singing the national anthem, Star Spangled, whatever. And I don't do those things. And, they join in that. The next thing they join in is going to be a bat across the back of the head of one of those oppressors. And I think the first couple times it happens, the mob will grab the person and go, you can't do that, we're better than that. And then they'll keep seeing these videos, and they'll keep witnessing things like this happening. And then the next time, they'll stop the guy with the bat after he whacks somebody in the head, and they'll go, you got to get the fuck out of here. And then the third time or fourth time, they're just going to join in. Hopefully they're just going to join in. Now, if you're an officer of the law or a member of the government, and you're going, how can you encourage that? I'm not. I'm just predicting what I think is going to happen. Maybe what should happen. I don't know. But I thought this whole country, this whole failed experiment was based on liberty and fighting for liberty. Fighting a revolution to where things like that don't happen. Was I wrong? Was I mistaken? And now we're supposed to feel bad, or even more dangerously, we're supposed to feel afraid for speaking out against tyranny? Weird. Are y'all ready for it to keep going? Because it's not going to slow down. Southern California stay-at-home lockdown extended indefinitely. December 29th. Indefinitely. Let that sink in. Whew. New strains, vaccines not working. Remember, everybody was just like, once we get that... Not everybody. Stupid people. So the majority were like, once we get that vaccine, we can go back to a normal life. Remember that? Remember a long time ago? Was it a year ago? They go 15 days to flatten the curve. 15 days to flatten the curve. The vaccine will help. No, we should shut down all these businesses. Yeah, you should get assaulted for not wearing a mask. By the way, when you get the vaccine, I don't know if y'all knew this, you're still required to wear a mask. Now, they say that it's because you can still transmit the virus. But now I'm going, you can transmit it anyway. Oh, but if you get a vaccine, you won't get it. We just keep going around in circles and circles, and then you get this. It's from today. Unless today's the 30th, which I don't think it is. We are doomed. We're not coming back. We've gone far beyond the crossroads, ladies and gentlemen. Now, this was an interesting video I wanted to play because it's about how the CIA functions. And you're going, what does that have to do with any of this? It has everything to do with it. They are so far more advanced than you are even remotely aware of when it comes to how they make people think a certain way with propaganda and whatnot. And you would be a naive, silly fool to think that they don't do these same tactics in the United States.
Other functions, however, some of them more legitimate than others. One is to run secret wars, the covert action.
Proven fact.
Talked about so much, like what's happening in Nicaragua today from Honduras. Another thing is to disseminate propaganda to influence people's minds, and this is a major function of the CIA. And unfortunately, of course, it overlaps into the gathering of information. You have.
Does any of this sound crazy to you? Does any of this? Has anybody watching this gone, no, they don't do that? It's weird how after doing it for long enough, you're just used to it. Now, if this would have come out 50 years ago, and keep in mind, been believed, because there would have been counter propaganda saying, this isn't true. This doesn't happen. We don't do that. We're Americans. Damn it. There would have been an uprising. But they've just slowly let you know that they start secret wars. They're the ones that are in charge of the importation of drugs into this country to fund secret wars. One of their favorite things to do is spread propaganda in foreign countries to destabilize nations that they feel are a threat to the United States. And then once they destabilize those nations and send in troops, if they do it on the up and up and you even know about it, have those nations ever come back to be prosperous? It's rare.
You have contact with a journalist, you will give him true stories, you'll get information from him, you'll also give him false stories.
Did you buy his confidence with true stories?
You buy his confidence and set him up.
And money,
We've
yes.
seen this happen recently with Jack Anderson, for example, who has his intelligence sources, and he has also admitted that he's been set up by them. You know, every fifth story just simply being false. You also work on their human vulnerability.
Let me give you a little taste of how that works. So, Alex Jones and InfoWars accuracy rating was in the high 90s. I think I could even say it was like 98, 99% accuracy ratings, right? And what they hung him on and tried to destroy him on, and this was a collaborative effort between the government and the media of all kinds, of all colors, of all stripes, was to hang him on the Sandy Hook thing. Now, the craziest part about this, when you really think about it, is InfoWars' accuracy rating up until that point far surpassed any news organization you can name by a lot. But that was a threat both to the government and to the media. Some would call them part of the same entity. It's like when this guy, the CIA agent, was talking about propaganda and media and giving out false stories and stuff. It's almost like they work hand in hand. I mean, I think he basically said that. But anyway, that's what they did to Alex Jones, and they've probably done to many other people. They'll wait for you to slip up, probably on something that they fed you, and they go, okay, we got that as a false story now, so we can totally discredit this person. I mean, they think so far in advance, so far down the road. They've been doing this for so long. They can discredit anybody, which is why I've taken the crazy approach of never believing anything that the government says, never believing anything that the mainstream media says, and, wait for it, you ready for this? Believing every little shred of the craziest shit I've ever heard in my life, because I have a feeling that that's still more accurate than what your government and the United States media tells you.
Abilities to recruit them in a classic sense, to make them your agent so that you can control what they do, so you don't have to set them up sort of, you know, by putting one over on them, so you can say, here, plant this one next Tuesday.
Can you do this with responsible reporters?
Yes, the Church Committee brought it out in 1975, and then Woodward and Bernstein put an article in Rolling Stone a couple of years later. 400 journalists cooperating with the CIA, including some of the biggest names in the business, to consciously...
Now, do you believe this guy, or do you believe the government? This is what I'm talking about. I believe this guy I've never heard of. Because I'm pretty sure that those 400 journalists controlled by the CIA, paid for by the CIA, i.e. United States government et al. Why would I believe them? They've been caught lying so many times about really big stuff. You've caught them covering up for the government for some of the most atrocious shit committed in our history. And the journalists are on board. Try to think of a couple things that have happened, I don't know, this past year. So are you going to believe them, or are you going to believe this guy?
Introduce the stories into the press.
Well, give me a concrete example of how you use the press this way, how a false story is planted and how you got it published.
Well, for example, in my war, the Angola War that I helped to manage, 1/3 of my staff was propaganda. Ironically, it's called covert action inside the CIA. Outside, that means the violence.
See, that's very important. People don't think about, they don't pay too much attention to that aspect. The majority of these subversive wars, both against you and other nations, yes, you, the United States citizen, is propaganda-based. It's misinformation and disinformation is one of the largest portions of this entire scheme. Either they get you to state wrong information that they put out there, not only to discredit you to others, but to discredit you to yourself. Misinformation and disinformation, two different things, but look into them, are used as a psychological tool against people that is much more effective in most cases than actual violence. Because you don't need to. It's the same reason why you have Antifa and the Proud Boys, and they're constantly going after each other. Because nothing is happening. And that's how they want it. You cannot have these people have the same goals. So one side is created just to counter the other side. Keeps them busy. That's one tiny example of how propaganda campaigns work.
Violent part. I had propagandists all over the world, principally in London, Kinshasa, and Zambia. We would take stories which we would write and put them in the Zambia Times, and then pull them out and send them to a journalist on our payroll in Europe. But his cover story, you see, would be that he'd gotten them from his stringer in Lusaka, who had gotten them from the Zambia Times. We had the complicity of the government of Zambia, Kenneth Kaunda, if you will, to put these false stories into his newspapers. But after...
Because that's where your foreign aid goes.
To that point, the journalists, Reuters and AFP, the management was not witting of it. Now, our contact man in Europe was. And we pumped just dozens of stories about Cuban atrocities, Cuban rapists.
Sound familiar? Discrediting dictators, making dictators look bad. Now, Do you remember 9/11? Obviously. Then do you remember Iraq after that? Think of all the things you heard about Saddam Hussein and Uday and Qusay and whatever, and just the violent, sadistic atrocities committed by Saddam Hussein and his sons. I watch stuff like this and I start going, did that really happen though? Because that's what propaganda is used to do when it comes to the CIA, amongst other things. But it's to make you go, it's to get you on the side of now you being okay with committing your own atrocities. You go, like, for example, it's going to sound callous. Why do I give a fuck about what Saddam Hussein and his kids do and his nation? Did it sound terrible? If it actually happened, absolutely. But we should send our troops to do something about it? Don't we pay something called the UN? I don't think it happened. Now that the words are coming out of my mouth, I think it was bullshit. I don't think he did any of those things. Remember what I said earlier about I'm not going to believe anything that the government says or anything that the mainstream press says. Because they have a history of lying to the American people. And one of the reasons they do that is to get you into foreign wars. Never-ending wars.
In one case, we had the Cuban rapists caught and tried by the Ovimbundu maidens who had been their victims, and then we ran photographs that made almost every newspaper in the country of the Cubans being executed by the Ovimbundu women who supposedly had been their victims.
These were fake photos?
Oh, absolutely. We didn't
Shocking.
know of one single atrocity committed by the Cubans. It was
kind of like the Saudis. Or here's another one, kind of like Libya. Kind of like the Libyans. Remember all that evil shit Gaddafi did? You know, like have all the things Americans dream of that their government takes care of for them with their oil wealth and whatnot. Oh, but luckily we saved the Libyans from evil Gaddafi. Because now there's open-air slave markets in Libya. Freedom.
pure, raw, false propaganda to create an illusion of communists, you know, eating babies for breakfast and that sort of totally false propaganda.
Thanks, Soapbox. What else do you want? Now you might go, I've never seen or heard of that guy before. That's probably why you should believe him. Because I guarantee you, Matt Lauer or Katie Couric would be the ones that go, that's total nonsense. And you go, which part? The communists did eat babies? And they'd go, yeah, they eat babies. And Saddam Hussein was a horrible person with weapons of mass destruction. Is that what it's called? That's what I'm supposed to say to the American people? Weapons of mass destruction. Okay. And where did the hijackers come from? Oh, don't worry about that. You mean they weren't from Afghanistan? No. The hijackers were from Iraq? No. Oh, Saudi Arabia, a country we never held responsible for anything because they're an ally to the United States. Now, haven't the Saudis been accused of horrible atrocities as well, but not by the mainstream press? So now I believe they probably do. Hey, remember that time they killed that Khashoggi guy? Not even on their soil? Where did that happen? Oh, but nothing. That was fine. Oh, because we're allies. Oh, so he's a good guy. Oh, he didn't eat babies for breakfast. Oh, okay. This is a form of misinformation. They put all this stuff out there, and you finally go, I give up. I don't know. You're not supposed to know. You're supposed to be controlled. So the easiest way to not be controlled, honestly, is to just stop watching media. That includes this if you want. Because I'd love to talk about something else. I'd love to just have everybody have a good laugh every day. You know what I mean? But we're just not in those times anymore. But what I do want people to do is just wake the fuck up. Just wake up. It's all lies. It's all lies. It's not real. Your job is to go buy shit. That's your existence as a human being in American society now. And eventually the world. Your job is to buy shit. How's that existence for you? Now they've tricked you into thinking, oh no, I'm providing for my family and I'm raising the next generation. To what? Become trannies? What are you raising them for? To become more consumers? How many people have returned from the city and went, I'm going to start a farm without electricity? It doesn't happen. Because the propaganda and the training, all that works. It works. I urge you to fight that. And the easiest way to do that is to just walk away from this system that does nothing but enslaves you and then takes your money and gives it to other countries when you need it most so they can make them consumers. So they can keep this whole cycle going. Let's all start compounds everywhere. I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out. It's pretty fulfilling planting a garden. It's pretty fulfilling not having to go work for some corporation. And you go, well, I can't do that. And I say, why not? And you say, well, I still have to pay taxes. Huh, isn't that weird? Isn't that weird? Oh, I still have to pay school taxes. I don't have kids that go to school. I don't even have children. Well, it's part of the community. You're part of the community. I don't want to be part of your fucking community. In fact, you've tricked me into being part of your community. Now I'm trapped. I'm trapped being part of your community. I don't want anything to do with it. I hate your community. I hate my neighbors. I hate my politicians. I hate my employer. I'm not going to lie. I hate my employer. How do you like that? All of them. I hate myself and I employ myself. I'm stringent and I'm consistent. But the thing is, let's be honest. You're working towards an unattainable goal. But you've been convinced since grade school that it's possible. And it's called the American dream. And that's that you're all going to be rich. And you're all going to be famous. And that's going to make you happy. And if you aren't those things, you should always strive to be that. Why is the message not the opposite? Why is the message not, you shouldn't try to be rich and famous? You should try to be anything but. No happiness comes with that. They're all drug addicts and drunks and child molesters because they've burned out their pleasure centers chasing this American dream that doesn't exist. The American dream, now that I'm thinking about it, is probably more like try to be as independent as possible and stay away from consumerism. That's probably the real American dream. The bare necessities. Do you need a car to get around? Probably. Do you need to go to most of those places you're going? Probably not. It's a weird system. And look at the inflation. You just have to keep earning more and more and more. Why? Oh, so you can buy more and more and more. Because it's the goal, right? The more you own, the more successful you are. Maybe we should start considering what is important is what makes you feel better. But like really feel better. Because it's not jewelry. It's not, when you buy even some fancy shit, right? It feels awesome. Maybe for a couple days. And then it's just normal. And what do you think? What do you think right after you got that fucking car you wanted? What right after you bought that watch you just thought you had to have? You just look for the next thing. It is such short-lived gratification. Oh, my stream's cutting in and out. Maybe I've gone on too long. They're cut. Oh, no.